Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
You are once again welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for more updates, like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can also leave a comment after watching or send us your voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277-128-777. Thank you. Basintale has finally reacted to Ahiagba's issue, saying that his action has shown that in 2020 he voted without registration and he has so many questions to answer. If they did not do anything about it, he personally will question him or cause his arrest. He also reacted to the misconduct of the EC, saying they did not trust them, just that they are following the procedure to see everything done. Without much ado, I would like you to join me listening to what he said in today's talk. Thank you.
Good evening to you and welcome to One-on-One here. I am Bryce and Atott, and tonight we are looking at matters concerning Ghana's Electoral Commission, politics in Ghana concerning the NDC, the NPP, and matters arising economically. And I'll be telling you who my guest is here tonight after this quick turn. So stay with us, don't go anywhere. I am Bryce and Atott. Welcome to the show. And with me here in studio tonight is NDC's National Deputy Communication Director, Malik Basintale, here with me in studio on One-on-One. Welcome. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Bright.
Thanks so much for saying yes to us and coming in studio with us here. Let's begin the conversation tonight with what is trending most. I mean, the Electoral Commission conducting a limited voters registration exercise now. So far, what has been your assessment?
First of all, my assessment will be based on the latest release by the Electoral Commission itself. They just apologized again this afternoon, and they have admitted that indeed all the figures that were put out there were false, their arithmetic was wrong, and their conclusions were totally misleading.
Right.
And the latest of their own reports is an apology to the Ghanaian people. This will be about the sixth time they have apologized ever since this exercise commenced. They first apologized for low networks. They first apologized for high misconduct. They later apologized for virtually gross incompetence as a result of the fact that they told us generator sets were made available for all the registration centers. Today, as we speak, Sanarigu, Tamale North, and many other registration centers do not have a standby generator. Yesterday, there was over 8 hours light off in Tamale, and not a single soul could be registered as a result of that, which meant that what they meant by we are prepared, we are ready, was a total sham. It was a charade, and they only did that to mislead the Ghanaian people. We have consistently said that we will help the Electoral Commission declare the NDC victorious in 2024. We have
you
said
will
that,
help them
we'll help
declare
them.
the NDC
Yes, we'll help them,
victorious.
and we have started. Their current misrepresentation, the wrong figures they churned out were noticed and corrected by the NDC. We have seen so many other things they have done wrong, and we pointed it out to them. For the first time in the history of this country, in 2020, the EC declared elections more than 9 different times. It's never happened in the history of this country before. Currently, all the Electoral Commission seeks to do is to wait for President Mahama to speak, and they are first to respond even before the MPP responds. Recently, I read a very funny statement from their outfit stating that President Mahama was fact-checked and a lot of things he said were inaccurate. I mean, virtually misleading. Clearly, if we read their statement, you know the MPP had everything to do with that statement, and probably they only appended their signature to it, but it was written at the corridors and the headquarters of the New Patriotic Party. So we know their plans, we know their intentions. All we have always said is that, look, we must have a free and fair election in this country. The Ghanaian people want to register. The Ghanaian people want to vote. They want to exercise their franchise, and they want to take a solemn decision at that. And it's not in your interest to attempt skewing their votes or misrepresenting their will. When that happens, it means you have misrepresented the will of God himself, because the will of the people will eventually be the will of God. We, in recent times, asked them to turn out the verification device says serial numbers. They objected to it. You remember when we said...
I mean, they gave reasons
yes.
in connection to security.
I mean...
You get, allowing people have almost like coming in contact with these devices, which could be used to do a lot of things to the elections. You don't think their response was right at the time?
Maybe they don't... They either didn't understand what we meant by serial numbers, or they don't really know what serial numbers are.
But first of all, what did you want to use the serial numbers for?
First, and like I said, we will help them declare John Mahama president. First, the NDC were first to detect stolen BVRs and BVD kits from their outfits. They denied it. They said nothing was missing. 2 weeks after, they confirmed that indeed things were missing. BVD machines were missing under surveillance, security surveillance at the EC's headquarters. I don't know if you've been to the Electoral Commission's headquarters before.
Yeah.
You see military men, soldiers, CCTV cameras all around and what have you. Yet, some devices were missing. Till date, they haven't told us whether they have found the devices. They told us they arrested some people. We don't know who they arrested. They told us they were under prosecution. We don't know what they're under prosecution for. And so we said, okay, if you claim that some BVDs, okay, have still not been found, no problem. We want to know the serial numbers of all the current BVDs being used, so that in a likely event that you are smuggling in a new BVD, we'll be able to detect it, because we have told the EC that we know their plans and we know what they want to do, and we know that there's an intention to illegally register people and smuggle people onto our register. So in an event that what we are saying is wrong, then allow us have the serial numbers of the current BVD, so that we know that, look, Bright, if we are using phone A, phone B, this is what we use for the registration. Phone A is called phone A. Phone B is called phone B. In a likely event that we see anything like phone C, we know an alien machine has been introduced. And that's why we claimed, we have been saying that we want the serial numbers of all the BVDs being used. And look, the serial numbers are not any atomic bombs. And the EC may be just incompetent, but you cannot hack a device with a serial number. Look, the shoe you are wearing has a serial number. The suit you are wearing has a serial number. In fact, every gadget in this studio would definitely have a serial number. The serial number is an automatic name placed on an object for easy identification.
I think it's mostly for identification of the production units.
And so, if you claim that the serial number could be used to hack an EC device, then a serial number can be used to hack my shoe, because my shoe has a serial number. It will definitely have a code. If you look at where your shoe number is, the size of your shoe is, you see the serial number boldly written.
But this isn't the shoe. This is technology.
So
I mean, anything is possible.
The serial number of your phone can never be used to hack your phone. The serial number of your laptop cannot be used to hack your laptop. In this case, I would send you a picture of the EC's the BVR kits, and you see the serial number boldly written there. If serial numbers could be used to hack, then why did they boldly write the serial number on the machine? It doesn't add up. There's something the EC is hiding. It's got nothing to do with hacking the machines. It's got nothing to do with infiltrating the security of whatever. All we want to do is to identify all the machines being used. And at the end of the identification, if the EC attempts smuggling in a new machine, then we know that, look, whatever we have been saying has been true, because everything the NDC has said in recent past has come to play. And the people of this country have found a lot of credibility in the NDC's position on matters of this sort.
When you speak of rigging elections, this is where I want to bring this in. You have vehemently attacked, or say pointed finger to the community director of the NPP, Richard Ahiagba, for trying to double register and all that. Tell me, how, first of all, how did you get this information, and how has it been dealt with?
I have said, and let me state it here once and for all, that if Richard Ahiagba is not registered, is not arrested till the 21st of this month, where the hearing will be done, I will personally lead a charge and I will instigate a citizen arrest on him. I say this because you cannot be a communications director of a party and attempt or engage and set a fraudulent act. I say that because in 2020, Richard Ahiagba's name was not in the register. Richard Ahiagba went to the venue to register, and they told him his name was not in it. Richard Ahiagba's name was written with blue pen beneath the register, and then he was allowed to register. Whoever allowed for that to have happened will also be standing the full rigors of the law, because it is illegal. All we do in this country, the offline system we have all agreed upon, per the constitutional instruments is that when your name is in the register and you go to vote, and then your name is there, but the biometrics are not picking as a result of A, B, C, D, they could just tick your name and allow you.
First, the name is on the
Absolutely.
list. Right.
But in this case, his name was not in the register. As to whether he printed a fake card or whatever, and the EC's card, anybody could print that. Anybody could walk into a studio and print a voter's card. What is important is for your name to be in the register. And that is why, even if I don't have my voter's card and I go to register, once my biometrics pick, they are supposed to allow me vote. Right. The register is the most important. His name was not on it. He was allowed to vote. In 2023, he claimed he went back to do some corrections and nothing.
To rectify the mistakes.
If you read his own statement, at the beginning of the statement, he said he said he had been voting in this country since 2000. Nobody is challenging whether you've been voting since 92 or 93. I know people who had been voting since 92. They became Jehovah's Witnesses and decided not to register again. In 2020, when a new register was being done, they didn't register. So they voted from 92, but today they are not voters again, and they are not on the register again. So the claim that Richard Ahiagba says he voted since 2000 does not still authenticate the fact that he is a voter, a registered voter today, because in 2020, his government forced you and I to go through the protocols of COVID-19. I mean, I was Britain, I got infected, I got attacked by COVID-19 as a result of that new voters register. And I got my name onto it. So if Richard Ahiagba was scared of corona, and he didn't go to register and allowed us to go and register and got attacked by corona, and today you want to come and vote in that particular election, then we must have a lot of questions to put at him. 2 days ago, he appeared at the polling station now attempting to register. And the people said, no, you were found voting. So how come you are here again to register? It's either you didn't register and you voted, or you are now going to undertake double registration. Because if it were an issue of just biometrics, if you don't, your biometrics are not captured, you cannot register. Because the new register, in fact, in 2012, we moved from the old system to the full biometric system. And biometric details is one of the major components to undertake before you are registered onto register to vote. So if your biometrics do not pick, it simply means that you can't register. If your biometrics do not pick, you can't register, because that is a high credential. That is a parameter to meet before you are even registered onto it. And so if the security detail of the register is breached, how can you put somebody's name on the register? The biometrics is more important than even your name and your age. The biometric features, they are more important than any other thing. So look, there are so many questions Richard will have to answer. And
you say that if he's not apprehended by the
we'll pick
security,
him up. Yeah, we'll arrest
going
him.
To lead
we'll pick him up, we'll take him to the police, and then sanctions will be put out.
What do you mean by pick him up?
Statement. I mean, we would initiate a citizen arrest. It's legal in this country. We would pick him up, we'll give him to the police, and then we'll file our charges. He must stand the rigors of the law. And I've said that he will be used as a scapegoat. You cannot engage. How did you register? How did you vote in 2020? That is the question he must be answering to you and I. How he voted. It means that plus one vote Akufo-Addo got was illegal. And that alone can even condemn the entire election results. And that is why we had been saying that many illegal voters got on board in 2020. And that's how the MPP, some way, somehow turned out victorious. So we will start expunging these names. And Richard Ahiagba is number one to stand the full rigors of the law. On the 21st of this month, I'll be in K2SAF myself. I'll be seated in the room there. And I will be one of the people to speak on this matter. And he will be picked up right from there, put in handcuffs, and taken to police station. Mark my words anyway.
Right. Now, let me quickly ask you this. With all these responses, it almost like EC has been quite effective since the registration started. I mean, they are quick to issue statements concerning issues or concerns raised by Ghanaians. I mean, they've saying that they are already investigation matters in Cape Coast and some other place and all that. Can you say that the NDC's trust in the commission seems to be going back up again? Can you say that?
You see, first of all, ever since President Akufo-Addo decided to do what no president had ever done,
which is?
And that was to lead the setting aside of Madame Charlotte Osei, bringing in his own Electoral Commission and the entire team. Since then, he brought in the patron of MPP at Legon, the TESCON patron, Bossman Asare, who we all know, he knows himself that he's been a TESCON patron. They brought in the Director of Research of MPP in the Bono region, Apia Hene, as the Director of IT at the Electoral Commission. together with several other MPP apparatchiks, to the extent that the returning officer for Nandom even went to swear in the Interior Minister, Ambrose Thre, and said he cannot hold himself again. So he just wants to shout Kukrudu, and shouted Kukrudu, and is still at post. We cannot trust such an electoral commission. You cannot trust such an electoral commission.
Even at a time where they are being responsive?
A referee to a match has been seen wearing the jersey of our opponent. How can we trust such a referee? It is not possible. We trust them at our own peril. We will only help them because they have been put in a position where we cannot take them out. They have the full backing of the Constitution. And you and I have the full power and spirit of the Constitution to stand against whoever, seeks to overthrow or undermine the powers of the Constitution. So all we are doing is an exercise to protect our Constitution and an exercise to salvage our democracy. If we don't do that today, I have seen countries go down on their knees as a result of electoral malpractices. I've seen very reckless electoral commissioners plunge countries into chaos, and the next thing they did was to fly out of the country and go and live outside the country. You and I do not have visas. Ghana is the only country we have at heart. This is the only place we can stay, work, and grow as a youth. If Charlotte Jen Mensa or Mr. Akufo-Addo or whoever attempts plunging this country into chaos by illegally suppressing the will of the Ghanaian people, it is our duty, you and I, to stand against it and fight against oppressors' rule. So the NDC is not as if we deliberately want to fight the Electoral Commission. No, we are seeking to protect the Constitution and protect the democracy of this country. All we are saying is that let Bryce's vote count, let Malik's vote count, let anybody's vote count, let Randy Abe's vote count. And when these votes count and you compute it, whoever becomes winner should be president of the Republic of Ghana. But we don't want a case where Bryce's vote has been counted, Malik's vote has been counted, Randy's vote has been counted, then all of a sudden, we all chose President Mahama. Then the EC will come and tell us that no, the three of you chose Nana Akufo-Addo or Ahiagba. If that happens, then the country will go into turmoil and would fight for our democracy.
And I don't believe we'll get there.
Right.
We don't have to get there. But then, if you've seen a video circulating or people discussing about the fact that the head of the IT department at the Electoral Commission is on the campaign trail of the MP representative. Have you seen that?
Those are threats to our democracy. And like I said, those are things that you and I must concern ourselves with. Because one of the referees is even now part of the campaign team. We are just waiting for him to take a mic and start introducing the vice president. I mean, clearly, you find him there laughing. He's so happy to follow the vice president around. But you see, that will not win them the election. They will try and try and try. The NDC, John Dramani Mahama, will be the next president by the will of the people and the grace of God. We have told them that we will come to power through the ballot box and would win based on our track record and our alternative solutions to the people of this country. So you can decide to pack if you want. President Akufo-Addo or Nana Bawumia can decide to even make Samira, his wife, the electoral commissioner. We will fight and we will help her declare President Mahama victorious in 2024. So we have seen all these things, and I'm glad it has come to your notice. I'm glad everybody has seen it. Where, we told you people he was an MPP guy. Many people challenged us. Today, you have seen him boldly. He's now leading Bawumia's campaign. When he's done, he will come and sit again and say, look, I'm the referee. So when I say foul, it's foul. When I say offside, it's offside. If it is not offside and he says offside, we'll score the goal and we'll declare it a goal. That is what we are going to do in this country. And I think that the Ghanaian people are in full support of us. We have the backing of God. We have the backing of the people. And when these two people are behind you, nobody will stand against you. It's a battle between the ECMPP and the Ghanaian people. And surely, victory will be given to the Ghanaian people on December 7th, 2024. Mark my words anyway.
But then, how many months to elections? Almost 7 months to elections. And you still don't have trust in the EC. You are concerned about the ability, the capability. You are worried that it might end up swaying votes on elections and all that. How do you intend to ensure that what you want or what you believe in, that at the end of the election day on December 7, Dramani Mahama will really be declared the president, regardless of what the vote might be? How do you ensure that, it's in the right direction?
The first way to ensure is to go around and speak to the Ghanaian people. And that's what we've been doing. If the people of Bono vote for John Mahama, if the people of Northern region vote for John Mahama, if the Ashanti region vote, Volta region, throughout the regions, John Mahama will be president of the Republic of Ghana. That's the only way you can be president, when the people vote for you. And that's all we have been doing.
But here's the case where you don't even have trust in the EC.
Yes. So the point I'm making is that we will first ensure the people vote for President Mahama. And we, as an executive body, will protect their votes at the polling stations. That's all we want to do. And that's what we've been working towards. The elections are declared at the branches. We would ensure that the branch results are declared according to those who voted. As simple as that. Look, those who fail to learn from history are bound to repeat history. We have learned from history. We have learned from the malpractices of the Electoral Commission. At Techima South, we saw spontaneous shooting into unarmed citizens. People died. Savulugu people died. Zabzugu elections were declared at the DC's house. The DC's house. Many other constituencies, you know, Ablekuma, here in Accra, Ododio, they had to chase our candidates into a hotel room. I mean, we saw all these things and we have learned. I must say that we have learned. Whatever happened in 2020, may God forgive us all. But we have learned.
What is the biggest lesson?
What
is the biggest lesson the NDC as a party has learned going into these elections from other ones?
I mean, your
biggest lesson as a party, what is it?
The first we have learned is not to entrust hope, absolute hope in the Electoral Commission. We have learned that. And we have learned that it is not every time that you must go by the decision of the referee. We have learned that too. I believe.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I've told you that in the election 2020, Jen Mensa declared elections 9 different times. 9 different times. It had never happened. After everything, when we thought we could win in the courts, Jen Mensa refused to appear in the witness box and asked them to grant judgment. And they still granted judgment in her favor. Upset. She refused. I won't come. Whatever they have said, let them say. I won't say a word. Grant, make your decision. And the court still granted silence the winner. Well, maybe her silence was golden. But in 2024, we have learned from that. And the first thing, like I said, is not to entrust absolute hope in the Electoral Commission. The second is not to entrust absolute hope in our courts, our legal system. That is why we are determined to win elections at the polling stations. We will win the election there. It will be brought to Accra, and Jen Mensa, whether she likes it or not, on that day, and let me predict it here, Jen Mensa will sit, Bossman will sit, Thre will sit, and with a very sad face and a sad demeanor, they will declare John Mahama president. You will come here. I will be here on the 10th of December again, and you will look at their faces. What I predict today, you will see it. And they will declare the exact will of the people, and they will declare the exact will of God. And to our glory, you and I would once again have a nation builder like John Dramani Mahama as president in this country.
Right. So I want to ask you more questions concerning John Dramani Mahama's campaign. I mean, how is it going? How is it faring? Also, we are going to talk about this issues of legacy. Now, the sitting president, Nana Adákò says that when John Dramani Mahama is made president, he might end up soiling his legacy and collapse what he's built so far as president. I mean, how does the NDC react to this? And Basintale is quite, he's quite thrown off by this statement by the president. But first of all, let's talk about the campaign by the former president, who is now the lead for the NDC as we're going to next elections. How has it been so far? You're almost with him all the time. How has it been?
So far, so good. So far, so good. I believe we went on a listening tour. We went to listen to Ghanaians, not to just speak to Ghanaians. And so we went around listening to them. So the question you should have asked me was, are you listening to Ghanaians? And I would say, yes, President Mahama is listening. He went on a listening tour. He heard their concerns, felt their plights, shared in their pain. And as a result of that, he professed some solutions. Governance is about finding solutions to your problems. It's about bringing innovations and initiatives that will be able to, ameliorate the plights of the suffering Ghanaian. And that's what President Mahama has been out there doing. He got to the Bono region and felt the plights. They spoke to him about cashew and a whole lot, how the cashew business is collapsing. And he said, look, my brothers and sisters, the cocoa sector has a cocoa board. Cashew has never had a cashew board. Under my tenure, I would ensure that we have a cashew board. And the people were so happy because that is all they wanted. And he told them that because they know what he has done before and they know what he can do. He got to the mining communities. And look, we've been mining for only God knows how long, to the extent that our country was even called a Gold Coast. Yet we've never had a fully, instituted mining refinery in this country. We export raw gold, they make it and they bring it back and they sell to us. Expensive. Very expensive. We are unable to even buy our own gold products again. So President Mahama says, look, those things will be a thing of the past. I will ensure that we set up mining refineries and mining areas. And the people were so happy. Got the cocoa communities. And the people said, look, we have been farming cocoa. You've been exporting it. We have a cocoa board. God bless you. We know how you run the cocoa board under your administration. God bless you. But we want you to now set up cocoa refineries in this country. Let us refine our cocoa into chocolate. Let us refine our cocoa into cocoa butter. Let us refine it into a lot of finished goods. We could export it and make a lot of money. So President Mahama said, yes, you people know my story. You know what I did to the shea butter industry. BP had a shea butter factory under President Mahama, where we exported huge tons of shea butter to Brazil in 2015. So he said, I've done it before, you know it. The people said, yes. He said, when I become president, I'll give you to a cocoa refinery like I did to the shea butter industry. And the people said, yes, we trust you because we know your track record and we know what you've done before. So President Mahama has been speaking. Ultimately, President Mahama has spoken about the 24-hour economy that seeks to provide sustainable jobs, that seeks to boost productivity in this country, increase our growth rates whilst leveraging an export-led economy. And you and I think as young people should buy into this idea. 24 hours in this country, we work for 8 hours. What happens to 12 hours? President Mahama says, I'll find solution to the remaining, 16 hours in this country. We work for 8 hours, we would find a way of utilizing 16 hours in this country. Even God does not sleep for 24 hours. So why must we sleep? Let's work 8 hour in a Thre shift. And I think that when you get a job, I get a job, our sister in the house will also get a job. And if we are able to work efficiently in this country, we'll produce to meet local consumption and would export some of what we produce. Let me cite an example before you come in.
Don't worry, I'll come back to you on that. I'll come back. I know you have a lot to say, but I'll come back to you, Malik. Forgive me.
I can see you're impressed with the 24-hour economy.
I'll come back to you.
That's right.
But then the question Ghanaians are asking is he talking too much? Is the former president, the current flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, is he making too much promises because he wants to appease or appeal, become more of the favorite person to Ghanaians? What exactly is his plan? We'll find out after this quick time. I'm still here with Malik Basintale, the National Deputy Communications Director of the NDC, here on 101. Stay with me. Welcome back. Still here on 101 with me, Atott²est. I'm still here with Malik Basintale of the NDC, National Deputy Communications Director. Big post, big man. Hear me here tonight. Well, thank you. And so the question I was asking, Ghanaians are asking, let me say a section of them are asking, is he just talking too much to appeal to the Ghanaian session? Or is it just that he wants to counter every single thing that he believes will work for him? What exactly is the plan?
Well, right. President Mahama would have been speaking too much if we did not import onions to a tune of 1.2 billion. He would have been speaking too much if we did not import rice to a tune of 3 billion. He would have been speaking too much if we did not import sugar to a tune of 2 billion. And in the last budget of the MPP, they showed and proved to the fact that our country still imports basic commodities that could be produced locally. So if we did not import things at that rate, I would have agreed with you that President Mahama is speaking too much. But why is President Mahama not speaking too much?
He's making a lot of promises.
He's not speaking too much because we need to work to cut down the importation of sugar. We need to work to cut down the importation of rice. We need to work to cut down the importation of basic commodities like onion. And once we need to work to cut down those importations, then we need to work at an extra time, and that is what brings on board a 24-hour economy. And so if President Mahama promises a 24-hour economy, it's because we're still lacking behind. I use an example of Don Simon that has been imported from Spain all these years since I was born till date. Don Simon is imported into African countries, and it's one of the highly consumed commodities. I don't think there's a coal shop in Ghana where you will not find Don Simon in the fridge. But we produce calipo in Ghana. How many countries will you go and find calipo? How many countries? Tell me. Why is it that we cannot expand the production of calipo? We cannot expand because high taxes are crippling companies, and just 2 weeks ago, we had over 10 companies leaving the country. Huge capital flights going away. Game is gone. Big Pen is gone. Societe Generale was at the verge of leaving. I understand they are still putting things in shape. And what have you? Huge taxes burdening companies in this country. High electricity tariffs crippling companies. People are unable to pay. And then people are scared of security, of working in the night. You know the number of mobile money vendors who have closed down because of insecurity in this country. So President Mahama says we'll bring this on board. We'll meet companies halfway with their taxes. We'll give companies a time of use electricity tariff where they would operate normal at daytime and in the night at a highly subsidized rate. We'll boost security in this country. And when all these are done, the companies will be able to expand. They'll be able to recruit more people, and people will work in full force. It's not a new thing in the world. Other countries have done it before. Singapore's done it, Germany's done it, America's done it, the UK's done it, Dubai. Those who have traveled to just Dubai will tell you that when you get there, you find a 24-hour economy, in full force, as late as 3 a.m. You can walk into a shops and buy shoes, you can buy dresses, and people, of course, are running shift in those countries. And so we think that in order to emulate the success stories of all these growing economies, we need to do like them. We don't emulate people by mouth. When President Akufo-Addo declared Ghana beyond aid, you knew he did it by mouth. He had eaten okro soup and banku and thought that he could say what he wanted to say. He said what he wanted to say. The next day, they were out there borrowing huge sums of monies. If you want to emulate growing economies, you must begin to act and think like growing economies. All the things President Mahama has been saying are solutions to our problems. They are not things that he just sits down and feels like, look, let me see this. They are solutions, and he gives a clear roadmap to how he's going to achieve it. Have you listened to Alhaji Bahomia speak in recent times? You know his policies. He says he's going to make NSS optional. He says he's going to make what he's going to cancel e-levy. He says, hey, Alhaji Bahomia, things you brought into this country, policies you brought as head of EMT, Economic Management Team, you now tell us that your policy is to cancel it. So the MPP now comes out, they create a problem, and their biggest solution or their biggest policy is that they will solve the problem they have created. That is virtually what they are out there doing.
Is that not why he's been saying that he's just the mate and this will give him the drivers? In
2018 or 2017, when he stood on the podium and said, I have arrested the CD and given the key to the IGP, was it a mate speaking? When Bahomia's boss, Mr. Akufo-Addo, was saying the Messiah, economic Messiah, whiskered Alhaji Bahomia, was he talking to a mate? When Samira Bahomia sat on TV, on radio, and said, my husband is an economic whiskered, was she talking about a mate? So clearly, you would realize that they are shifting goalposts. And Dr. Bahomia today says this, and tomorrow he's here and he's there. You are head of economic management team. You have led this car, this vehicle, into a ditch. You have led us into high borrowing. You've led us into high interest rates. Monetary policy is on the rise. You've led into a high CD depreciation. You've led us into high petroleum prices. You've led us into high electricity tariffs. The bag of corn is on the rise. The price of a bag of maize is on the rise. Cement is selling at about 100 cedis. Iron rods, a ton is selling about 10,000 Ghana cedis and the likes. And people cannot even clear goods at the port. All you have done is to lazily sit down and tax everything in this country, including bets. A Muslim who says you don't like bets, but you have taxed bet 10%. So when they win the bet, you collect 10%. You don't like pork, but they've used pork meat to cook the soup, and you said they should give you some of the soup to drink. What kind of very confused stomach direction, leadership is this? And so, clearly, Bright, you would attest to the fact that the MPP has lost it, and they have lost it in full force. Nothing again but for a 24-hour economy is going to save this economy. Where we are today, if we don't work at a triple rate, if we don't create jobs for over 1.8 million unemployed Ghanaians today, if we don't create jobs for unemployed nursing trainees, unemployed teacher trainees, and the likes, if we don't pay our contractors, if we don't pay people government owes, like even NAPCO, they created themselves, that they have left the people in debt. If we don't pay such workers, then you and I wake up one day and there will be no one left in this country. Do you know how many nurses leave the country on a daily basis in search of greener pastures? Go to the airport today. I know of a nurse who told me that he was waiting for his superior to report at work. And when it was 6, the superior hadn't reported. He called the superior only for the superior to say, my brother, bye-bye you, bye-bye Ghana. I'm at the Atott²est. I'm about to fly to the UK. I won't come again. So whatever you want to do with your hospital. And he said he bowed his head down and he said, oh God, so when will it be my time?
Listen to that. If your boss is leaving.
He said that when will it be my time? It means that as his boss is leaving, his biggest prayer is not to be the boss in that institution. His biggest prayer is also to find way to Atott² and then leave the country. If we continuously have our people live in the country this way, then one day you and I will get up with no nurses and teachers in this country again. So we must save the economy, wallahi. And Mustafa Hamid will rightly put it, that Ghana is in tatters. Ghana is condemned. We are in a state of melancholy. If we don't stand up and if we don't salvage the current, economic situation, one day we'll wake up to find no country again called Ghana.
Now, the NDC claims some portions of their promises or manifestos and all that, even though we are yet to hear what exactly is in the book. It's been stolen by the MPP.
I mean, we know that they have virtually no solution. But we thought,
speak of their disability.
Absolutely, I'll come to that. We thought what they would focus themselves in doing is to find a way of solving the problems they have created themselves, at least to an extent, before the NDC takes over. But we didn't know that whilst at incompetence, they are also good at copying. We have been going out there and professing our solutions. However we came by those solutions, you don't know.
But don't you think great minds think alike?
You haven't sat down, great minds between who and who. Who is great and who is great? A great mind is somebody who gave us Atott² Terminal Thre. Just oppose him to another great mind. Who will you find? A great mind gave us KJTR Market. Just oppose it to this current administration. Tell me which great mind you will find. How many hospitals have they given us? How many schools have they given us? How many airports have they given us? But for the renaming of President Mahama's projects, what have they given us? So you don't compare such great minds. Don't compare apples to oranges. Let's speak of apples first. I'm saying that, look, President Mahama is professing solutions that a great team had put in force. They brought together. His manifesto team, the lab, had sat down and found a solution to our current economic predicament. Bawumia knows nothing about these promises. He doesn't know how they came about. All he does is to listen to the NDC's promise, and the next day he's saying the same thing. I dare the people to ask him what he means by what he's saying. I dare them. They should ask him. The people need to ask Bawumia that, look, the things you are saying, tell us how you achieve them. President Mahama has told us and has shown us how he's going to achieve them. Also tell us how you're going to achieve yours. And then you find him wanting, copying a lot of things. Now he said he also build mining refineries. You are vice president today. Build it now. Let us see it. He said they'll build cocoa processing companies. You are vice president today. You told us you give us one district, one factory. Build it now. Let us see it. You give disabled free tertiary education. You are vice president today. We have disabled in Ghana today. Give them free tertiary education today. Just because President Mahama has professed solutions to our problems does not mean that you should also go about, copying our manifesto promises. In the coming days, I'm sure we'll have huge debates. And we are hoping that in 2020, they run away from debate. They refuse to debate President Mahama. We are hoping that this time they won't run away like they did. And they should come and sit down, tete-a-tete. Let the Ghanaian people watch. Let us ask questions. Bright, sit down, ask them. You said this, how will you achieve it? You said this, how will you achieve it? Then you will find the difference between a nation builder like President Mahama and a nation wrecker like Alhaji Bawumia.
Okay, let's not talk about the legacy issue where the state president, Nana Adak² says if Ghanaians allow former president and the leader of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, to come back into power, all the things he's done so far, putting Ghana on a certain level, will all collapse. Malik.
First of all, Bright, President Akufo-Addo clearly was never interested in becoming a successful leader.
How do you?
And clearly he was never interested in ruling this country. All he was interested in is becoming some sort of an oligarch, of becoming more like an Arabian king, of simply bearing the title president. And then after 8 years, he will leave office, and then his childhood ambition and childhood dream had been fulfilled. All President Akufo-Addo was ever interested in is flying private jets at £14,000 an hour, dancing, whining, and bathing in the sky. That was virtually all he was interested in. Because you see, if he were interested in real governance, on the 7th of January 2016, he would have been interested in the handing over notes of the NDC. And if he had gone through the handing over notes, he would have understood what we first of all meant when a president says, I have a legacy. President Mahama bequeathed to him $250 million in the sinking fund. That is legacy. President Mahama bequeathed to him $270 million in the Ghana Infrastructural Investment Fund. That is legacy. President Mahama bequeathed to him $250 million again in the Stabilization Fund. That is legacy. President Mahama gave him Kotoka Terminal Thre. That was legacy. He gave him the Bank of Ghana Hospital, the University of Ghana Medical Hospital. Those were legacies. He gave him KJTR Market. That was legacy. So many E-blocks around, interchanges like the Circle Interchange and what have you. In fact, he handed over the dollar to him at 4 cedi, 20 pesos. That was legacy. A gallon of petrol at the time was sold at 13 Ghana cedi. That was legacy. Fine. You took this legacy. Today, mention a new university. One, President Mahama has built. So on 7th January 2025, if we should ask him for his handing over notes on universities, tell me what he's going to write there. He will go and write Apia Kenten, whatever renamed university, or UBITS, University of UB Dombo, whatever, UDSWA. Is that what he's going to write there? On 7th January, if we ask President Akufo-Addo for legacy, and we tell him to tell us a senior high school he has built, right, what is he going to put there? He has not built one. If you ask him for an airport, he should tell us one he has built. What is he going to put there? He won't put anything. So virtually, the legacy sheet of President Akufo-Addo has nothing written on it. However, we have a problem sheet. And what he should have been saying was that I won't hand over a problematic economy to President Mahama. That one, maybe we would have sat to Jojo and then think alike. But if you sit down and talk about legacy, of what legacy are you going to write? Look, on 7 January 2025, President Akufo-Addo is going to hand over an epileptic dollar, CD. An epileptic CD at a rate of 16 Ghana cedi. Bloomberg has predicted that the year will end at with $16 cedis. President Akufo-Addo is going to hand over a gallon of petrol. 40%. Absolutely, almost at 16. Bloomberg has predicted. On 7th January 2025, President Akufo-Addo will hand over a gallon of petrol at 105 Ghana cedis. He will hand over a total debt, okay, at 656 billion. That is if they don't even do more than estimated. He will hand over a debt to GDP, okay, at over 100% in this country in on January 7, 2025. He will hand over a whole list of corrupt appointees. Look, President Akufo-Addo himself has been caught on tape taking brown envelope with 2 hands. His sports minister, who he sacked, they took more than 300 journalists, fake journalists, to Austria, and they were impounded and returned into this country. Bust fuel, moving pina, contaminated fuel were sold like cheap granules to their own family and friends under this current economy. Excavators got messing over 500 under bizarre conditions. In fact, the secretary to the Anti-Galamsey task force was caught on tape collecting brown envelopes, monies. In fact, he was even the first man to count corrupt money in public. At least when Akufo-Addo collected his brown envelope, he didn't count it in the camera. He went into the room. Charles Bisu was caught on tape counting the money in public like this. Lots of corruption exposés under this country. PDS. Today, I'm just told that over $600 million dollars has been taken away from this country, all because of a PDS scam, of which Bawumia has been indicted in it. Look, so the legacy of this current economy will be corruption, will be low growth rates, will be high unemployment of 1.8 million Ghanaians, will be unpaid NAPCO trainees, will be unpaid contractors in this country, unpaid school feeding caterers, lots of problematic things in this economy. And so if that is the legacy, President Akufo-Addo says he won't hand over that to Mahama, then I'm sorry. Ghana is at a crossroads. And even in your problematic economy, we need a nation builder to salvage the economy. If Ghana were Akufo-Addo's poultry farm, I don't think with the current readings, he will hand over that poultry farm to Alhaji Bawumia. You had full confidence in this man who deceived you, a man who took Maka and bought, and drafted economics of how he was going to reduce the cedi. Did you watch Bawumia in 2016 when he was explaining to you and I how he would arrest the cedi? At a point, I said, what? This guy is a rat hunter. Because he drafted it and said the cedi will be here, I'll jump from here to here, I would lie here, I'll hold the cedi's leg, I'll pull it down. Lots of warped economics. And Nanado had full confidence in him. Upon assumption of office, he told Nanado that I've arrested it and the keys with the IGP. Today, what has happened to the dollar? So, if there's anybody Mr. Akufo-Addo should be disappointed in, it is his own Vice President, Alhaji Bawumia, who deceived him and misled him and had full hopes in him. And today, he's led us into a jeep. He should take a moment. He should sit down. I know he likes wine. He should get wine. If he wants, he should charter a private jet and sit at the dining. He can finish bathing in the jet. And then he should look at Ghana's radar and ask himself whether he's proud of the record of Alhaji Bawumia. He would realize that Ghana has been torn into tatters.
Malik, we have just 2 minutes to go. Ever since Nana Opoku-Agyeman was outdoored to the Ghanaian populace as the running mate for John Dramani Mahama, how has the response been so far? Just 2 minutes, we have to wrap up.
So far, so good. The response has been highly encouraging. At least, Professor Nana Jane understands the price of part than you and I. She understands the price of tomatoes in the market than you and I, because she goes there. I don't use pad, you don't use pad. She uses it. She understands how the prices of ladies' pants have even escalated in the market than you and I. Or ladies' braziers. I don't wear braziers. She understands it. So the women, for once in a lifetime, have found somebody who directly and genuinely understands their problems, because she's a woman and she fits into their corridor and fits into their space. And so they have been speaking on removing taxes on pads and all of that. You've been abreast with that information.
Right.
We, the men who do not understand it like Professor Nana J.
But you also get to pay, because you have to actually purchase it.
We buy some, absolutely. So, I mean, it simply means that you are reaffirming the position that Professor Nana Jane is coming for women and coming for you and I too, because we suffer to buy them.
Please don't put me in the midst of all this.
All we are saying is that the women understand Professor Nana Jane, and they are willing to cast their votes for her. She doesn't only come onto the table just for the plight of women, but she understands the educational corridors of this country. She understands the economy of this country. And she's sober, humble, and in all humility, willing to embrace everyone. Everywhere she goes to, they receive a mamo, dende, and all of that. We find a mother in her. We find a grandmother in her. We find a sister in her. We find a daughter in her. And we feel that our concerns will be appreciated in a home. Nobody appreciates our concerns than our mothers. And you know it. We are fathers. We are men. We would agree that our mothers understand the concerns of kids than us. Sometimes, even if a baby is crying, you would have to ask your mother or your wife that, oh, what is wrong with the child? She will look at the child. Sometimes I don't know how they do it. But women genuinely understand our problems. And Professor Nana Jane genuinely understands the plights and problems of women in this country and understand the plight and problems of the youth and the people of this country. And so adding her onto a nation builder like President Mahama will be a wow ticket, and Ghana will have a leader who is highly experienced and a woman who genuinely feels the plights and is ready to address all the plights of the suffering Ghanaian.
Malik, we are actually out of time and we are done. But a quick one, in just 20 seconds, do you think the selection of Nana Opoku-Agyeman is kind of pressurizing the NPP to as a reason why they are even there to elect a running mate?
The problem NPP has now is that almost everybody they name to be running mate is poisoned. John Kuma was named to be running mate. Some way, somehow, he lost his life. All the people they targeted to be running mates, some way, somehow, they just disappear from the surface of Earth. And so, clearly, you realize that the NPP is in a confused state. They don't even know who to name again. I understand one man is in the center of affairs. As I said, he's the current energy minister, also Napo. He's at the center of affairs. And he says that apart from him, it will be no one. And when journalists even go to interview him, he just rubbishes you. Ghanaians asked the question, he said we should create our own timetable. You talk to him and want to interview him, he says, oh, clear off.
Which was later,
pompous,
he came to actually explain reasons why.
Very arrogant demeanor, very proud demeanor, because he feels he's there. He feels he's running mate already. So he has the guts to talk to people in very proud, arrogant demeanor. Professor Nana Jane is humbling, very sober. And so I think that the challenge with the NPP not selecting a running mate has virtually got nothing to do with Professor Nana Jane. It's about the fact that anytime they name somebody, the person dies. And currently, Bawumia is confused. He went to consult the Pope on who becomes his running mate. And the Pope told him he had no business with the economy of Ghana, and so he should do what he wants to do. Thank you very much, Bright.
And I'm here with Malik Basintale. He is the National Deputy Communication Director of the NDC, and almost everywhere Gentleman Mahama goes, you see him there. He's almost like one eye, for Gentleman Mahama. Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you very much, Bright.
And I'm Bright, and this is 1-on-1 here on Metro TV. Have a good night.
Thank you for staying tuned. PENDREAM TV really appreciate your time. Please, if you have not yet subscribed, please do so for us. Hit the notification bell so that you'll be the first to receive any update that will be loaded onto the platform. Thank you.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.